For this week's video blog, we are tasked with reading Chapter 8. If you actually read the chapter, you know about understanding document design and decorum. Decorum is explained as the appropriateness of an action. When I described to the class the Tiger Steps program using a bunch of curses and vulgar words, it helped convey to our open classroom style of learning that I was clearly upset or frustrated about all the requirements. Earlier today, when I wrote the essay required for the program, I described how unfair I thought the situation was with the RA and campus cops giving tickets all willy-nilly, not caring about how it affects the students. Most schools do not care about drinking and other mildly illegal activities. They happen at every school. It's not something new. Additionally, in the paper, I talked about how I thought that it was unfair that we got in trouble for drinking quietly in our room during the Louisville game, and after the Notre Dame game, people were having races on our floor. Somebody wanted to start a fight, and then people were up until 2:30 a.m. I had community service the next day. The RA on call that wrote us up was outside our door, hanging out with everybody else in the hallway, doing nothing about the noise, and nobody else got in trouble for drinking in the hallway or being drunk. Despite how I was obviously frustrated by this situation, in the paper I had to use the correct decorum and write in a polite tone to try and actually get some change to happen out of the Board of Community and Ethical Standards. I didn't want to curse like we did in the classroom because that would just make them dismiss my argument immediately. Because most of the chapters focused on things surrounding an academic paper, I needed to provide a sense of understanding as well as prove that I've learned something. I needed to prove that my situation had changed me as a person, and while I think I did that, I won't outright tell them that what I really learned is that if you can run from a cop, it's worth it. In my essay, I only challenge them to think that if they're making the best decisions for their students by giving excessive numbers of MIPs and possession charges. In regards to running from a cop, you probably should ask yourself if you're upholding the ethics contract that we agreed to when we signed on to be students here. Plain and simple as the answer is you wouldn't be. But if the administration wants to grieve to me about how I'm not upholding my end of the deal like they did vicariously through the teachers of the alcohol education class that I had to attend, then I can come up with a list of grievances for them to counter it. Without disclosing the specific amount of money that I pay per year to attend this wonderful school, I will only say that after 4 years, the amount totals almost enough to buy a brand new 2015 Lamborghini Gallardo. When I agreed to spend that amount of money on an education here, I expected my education to be top of the line. And while so far the education part of the deal has been relatively what I expected, the on-campus resources like Wi-Fi, dining hall hours, and university transportation, etc., are not what I expected. Although these grievances are not enough to complain about, thus far my love for the cleansing community is high, and